Hare Krishna. Question: if something is destined, then will it not happen even if we don't endeavor for it? In your article on fatalism, you mentioned that if rains, if that the crops will, if the destiny is favorable, then the rains will come in and the crops will grow. But then, isn't it true that if that were destined and the crops will grow anyway, even if the rains don't come? So, what exactly does it mean when we say something is destined? Answer: yes, the word destiny can have multiple meanings. So, for example, some people say this is my destiny, or I am going to discover my destiny, I am going to achieve my destiny. So there, people use destiny in a positive sense, where say say there's a young cricket player and he says I want to become the next national superstar cricket batsman, next Sachin Tendulkar, say, and that person says that is my destiny and I'm going to achieve it. So now in this case, a person is talking about something future, which will materialize in the future, and the destiny is used in the positive sense. In sometimes in say the word "मेरी किस्मत ही फूटी है," oh my destiny is rotten, or something like that. There the word destiny is used in negative sense, and often the word fate is used with that connotation. Fate is often used with it was my fate, so that is often used in the negative sense. So now we have to look at the context to see in what sense destiny is used. So is everything destined? Certainly not. If everything were destined, then the scripture would, as Baldev Vidyabhushan states, that scripture would not tell us do this and don't do this, because we would not have the power to do this or not do that. And scripture not only gives us choices, but scripture also tells that the choices will produce consequences. So that means that the consequences are not determined, are not predetermined. The consequences are determined by the kind of choices we make. Krishna says, Machitta sarvadurgani mat prasadat tarishyasi athachettvam ahankara na shroshasi vinangshasi. Krishna says, if you think of me, if you become conscious of me, you will pass over all obstacles by my grace. Otherwise, you will be lost. And like this, Krishna gives multiple choices in the Bhagavad Gita, and similar scriptures give us choices, not necessarily between where Krishna is intervening and Krishna is not intervening. There are choices between goodness, passion, and ignorance also, and they also have consequences. So now the important point to recognize is that Krishna focuses that the point of destiny is not to say that everything that is going to happen in our life is determined. So when we say is something destined or something is not destined, the focus in that case is on what circumstances in our life are changeable and what circumstances are unchangeable. As it is said in the general wisdom tradition also, and commonly repeated, that, oh God, give me the strength to know the things that I can change, to change the things that I can change, to accept the things that I can't change, and to the wisdom to know the difference between the two. So now that means there is certain thing which we can't change, and there is certain thing which we can change. This is understood in historical wisdom also, and that is talked about in scriptural wisdom also. So in the specific example, if we are using something of destined in the sense that it has to happen, then we are not saying that the growth of the crops is destined. What we are saying is, when we talk about something as destined, at least when we talking in philosophical terms, not in today's contemporary terms where, oh, I'm going to achieve my destiny. When we say I'm going to achieve my destiny, when we use it in that sense, there the focus is on our doing something. It is not on something which is ordained from outside. So yes, if the result of something involves our playing a role in it, then that result is obviously not destined. That result depends that not just on what happens, but also on how we respond to what happens. So, for example, now, are the crops destined? No, the crops, usually speaking, they grow only when the land is ploughed and the land is irrigated. So if rains don't come, then obviously the crops won't grow. And even if the rains come, if the soil is not ploughed, if the seeds are not sown, then again crops will not come, weeds will come. So there are certain things where we practically play no role in those things. But and those things where we, at least from this life's perspective, play no role, when those things turn out in a particular way, then we can say that that is destiny. Say a student writes an exam, and while checking the paper, the teacher is in a bad mood. Now the student has done nothing to put the teacher in the bad mood. So the teacher's bad mood, if that affects the marks of the student, then that is the student's destiny. But if the student did not study or chose to study inconsistently or unintelligently, focusing too much time on some things and neglecting some other important things, then can the student say that, oh, my poor marks were destined? No. There the student made imprudent choices, and that's what caused the result. So to summarize, the point is that wherever things are not in our control, then we understand that that is destiny itself determining that result. But when we have a certain role to play in the way the things work out, then we understand, yes, destiny may be playing a role, but our role is also important. The whole point of the discussion of destiny and duty is to recognize that we should be inspired to stick to our duty amidst all situations, and not let the considerations of destiny either give up our duty out of lethargy, where we feel nothing is in my hands, why should I work? That is tamoguna. And nor should we give up destiny, nor should we give up our duty and over endeavor in the sense of even crossing the boundaries of immorality and civility and doing sinful activities, thinking that I will achieve more. So at that time, we recognize that yes, the certain results are going to be fixed and they are not going to change. So why should I do something sinful to try to get something which I will not get anyway? So Kamsa was told by Devki's husband Vasudev that if your death is ordained, it is destined, then what will you achieve by killing your own wife? Better not kill her. So this is the kind of reasoning which inspires one to stick to the path of dharma, and that is what is recommended in scripture. So to summarize, the understanding of destiny, we should cultivate it in Sattva-guna, and it should inspire us to act in Sattva-guna. That means detached dutifulness. If destiny is not understood if the concept of destiny is rejected, then a person will go into unfettered Rajoguna. And if the concept of destiny is misunderstood in terms of nothing in our hand, then a person goes into Tamoguna, where that person uses destiny as a rationalization for lethargy and apathy. Thank you. Hare Krishna.